Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Masks Monday. And we are up to session 41 of Masks of Nyarlathotep. And the washing machine is going in the background. Apologies if you can hear that. So let's go round our players and introduce the characters before we jump back into the aftermath of their rather terrible night at sea. Let's start off with Pranit Singh Dhillon.
Yes, indeed. My name is Pranit Singh Dhillon. I'm a former Indian's Punjabi soldier, and he actually tried to get his shit together by going to a shrink in Hong Kong. Unfortunately, somebody decided to pee on the carpet, so he didn't really want to be seen again at that place. But hopefully, in the next destination, things will get a better turn.
Hopefully. And we have said peer on the carpet, Annie Jones. Or rather, dictator of peeing on the carpet, beg your pardon.
I didn't pee on the carpet. That was Perry.
You still told him to pee on the carpet.
I said, what if somebody peed on the carpet? And then Perry whipped his cock out. I mean, come on.
You did make a case for it in covering our tracks, actually.
Still, would you like to introduce your character?
Hi, I'm Annie Jones, and I have nefarious plans involving urine.
In other words, she's taking the piss.
And we have Charles Barrington-Smythe.
Hello, yes, I'm Charles Barrington-Smythe. I'm the man who is a functioning drunk, but was sober enough not to want to pee on a therapist carpet. I leave that to my Canadian cohort, bloody colonists. And yes, I did do some sober work last week, and I'm rather proud of the results.
I mean, you don't have to go to work for Duke, but you probably should.
I don't blame you.
No. And then finally, we have the Canadian cohort, Perry Astor.
Canadian cohort, yes. Doing recap this time. Perry Astor out of Calgary managed to survive since New York, so he's doing relatively well. And new city, new carpet.
For those of you who are just joining us, it's not all about peeing on the carpet, as Perry is going to summarize now.
Come on, let's be serious.
Sometimes it's about asking people to defecate on carpets.
That did happen.
Would you like to talk about what else has happened since you landed in the Far East?
Yes, okay. So last week, Charles started off by faking a load of professional credentials for Annie, so she could pass herself off as a doctor and possibly commit the aforesaid Charles into a nursing home. But in the end, we didn't do that. Annie and Perry went to a nursing home just to get some background information. Annie posing as Dr. Thatcher, Dr. M. Thatcher, and saying she was looking for a patient and claiming to be that patient's family doctor. She showed a picture, and he was immediately recognized as a Mr. Carter, but someone we also know as Roger Carlyle. Perry went along as her assistant and just sort of held her coat while she did most of the legwork. We met Carlyle, but he'd sort of lost his mind. We asked him primarily about the capstone, but he didn't really have a lot of information. He knew he broke it. He told us he broke it, and the bits were lost as far as he knew. He did say there was a possibility that Brady had a piece, but he wasn't sure. He didn't know where Brady was. He didn't contact him or visit him anymore, although we'd got a distinct impression that Brady was actually paying for his care. While this was going on, Charles had decided to get some rest after a night of hard work, and Pranit went to the university to find someone who could translate our French book for us. While he was there, he also asked questions from Charles Godfrey about the Black Fan poem and was read a fairly sizable section of it. After that, we reconvened back at the hotel, and we grouped and went to send a message to Erica, which is Roger's sister. On the way back from sending the telegram, we avoided a riot. We decided in the end not to move Carlisle. We went to go and get the French translation from the book. And then we decided to catch a ship to Shanghai, which ended up, we actually caught the ship during a storm. And as luck rolls go as predicted, Pranit saw a monstrous silhouette of a huge creature in this storm, lit by a bolt of lightning. And the ship ended up putting into a nearest port for safety, Rusan B, I believe the town was called. And as we reached port, Pranit noticed his sword was missing, and I believe we're still at least 3 days from Shanghai.
Yes, indeed. But before we do a little bit of easing back in and getting you up to Shanghai, let's quickly do luck and so on. So Perry, you of course get 10 luck for the wonderful summary, and of course improvement rolls if you haven't done so already. Everybody else, for your luck.
Yeah, I didn't improve.
Yeah.
Buonasera, Matteo.
Buonasera.
Have you done yours, babe?
You're muted.
Yes, it's now 49.
Just asking the question, do you get improvement roll and the 10 luck from the... You do?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, look, I failed. What a shock.
All right, having said, okay, so we've got Annie is on 49 luck, and are you on 56 sanity?
Yes.
Perry, what is your luck now?
My luck now is 22.
2. My num luck isn't on, there we go. And your sanity is 95.
It is.
Okay. Pranit, what is your luck now?
Still 35.
Still 35. And what's your sanity looking like?
58.
58. And you lost 1 or 2 points. Okay, and Charles, what is your luck now?
My luck is now 48.
Ooh, quite a nice boost there. And you've got 54 sanity?
54 sanity, yes.
Okay, it's not much of a move for you there.
Yes, for once, I actually managed to do an improvement roll. It could be the only decent roll I make this evening.
Yes, I notice. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll ease you into traveling up to Shanghai and so on, but also I will be reminding you of your general leads as well at an appropriate time. But yes, it does indeed take you a good few days or so to get up to Shanghai from a small village outside of Fuzhou. It's a good 375 miles north as the crow flies. So you basically, given the travel choices you had at the time in sort of rural parts of Shanghai with the odd city here and there, you are doing things like train hopping, even going on carts for a bit, obtaining transport in other ways. And it takes you, whilst you're safe and mostly dry, and mostly in one piece, even from Pranit's point of view, even with a sword missing, by the time you start reaching the outskirts of Shanghai, you are tired, you've not washed for a while, you are generally feeling low in mood, and so on. If you've not had much time really to stop, unless you really, really want to stop in a hotel, but again, there's a lot of rural ground between Fuzhou and Shanghai. There's no massive settlements anywhere nearby. So your lodgings, if you did decide to stop, are pretty basic at the absolute least. But yeah, so you get to the outskirts of Shanghai, and basically the main way to get into the city is via the river, the Wangpu River. There's a lot of boats heading upriver from the coast, which is fairly normal as well for even big ships and so on to get pulled in by smaller boats. And whilst you're on one of these said boats, which is another good 4 hours of your day, you're spending the time filling out custom forms and so on, which are being very almost militaristically handed out to everybody. And as you're slowly going up the river, you're starting to see more of Shanghai, which is possibly surprising to some of you. It is quite a big contrast to the very kind of Englishified Victoria district of Hong Kong. If you imagine a quite large amalgamation of East and West clashing together with a bit of hustle and bustle of, say, Liverpool or Southampton, since some of you are more familiar with those places as characters. And yet there are things like there's bunting everywhere. There are people going along, just running everywhere, bumping into each other. Not many cars around here either at this point in time, mostly things like bikes and buses and so on. Yeah, it's especially for those of you who are slightly more fragile-minded, it's quite unsettling at times, especially with loud noises like babies crying and so on. It does make you a bit stressed, and you can feel your heart fluttering a little bit. You also learn fairly quickly, even though Shanghai police you think is probably a little different from Hong Kong, you hear whispers of people talking about how they are going to basically confiscate your guns and so on in a very similar vein. However, you think maybe if you really want to keep things like pistols and rifles, you know that there's potentially permits you could obtain, or maybe you could bribe or do something. I mean, Charles, you might think maybe more down a slightly deviant route of forging some documents. That could also be a possibility.
I'm not adverse to such deviant practices.
Please and thank you. Since I don't have my saber with me anymore, I really need my rifle. Please.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, I could. It's up to you guys. There's two ways of doing this. I either try and forge something which may or may not pass, or I just put my hand in my pocket and just buy the damn licenses, and that way we're legit.
Yeah, I mean, you've got quite a lot of paperwork to forge. How long will it take to get the paperwork officially?
Officially, it can take up to a few hours. And
a few hours.
For
a couple of days. Couple of days might have been a different matter, but a couple of hours.
Okay,
I'll just buy the damn thing.
Yeah, it might be one of those things. If you pay the right money, you get the things right away.
Yeah, in fact, yeah. Maybe pay a little over the score in the hope of greasing the wheels a bit and speeding it up.
Fair enough. I'm just getting up a map of Shanghai for you. Just to pop in the Facebook chat. By the way, today's date is now Wednesday, the 6th of May. So it's taking you a good 7 days or so, all the way from Hong Kong to Shanghai.
Okay.
Giving you a setback. There you go. It's interesting because where you disembark your boat is basically right next. You see it on the way up the river. You see the American consulate, and almost right directly across the river is a British consulate. You're basically in the Shanghai International Settlement, which there's plenty of different nationalities in here. In particular, you've got British, of course. Some French that kind of drift into the French concession, which is further west from here. You've got all the sort of White Russians, as they were called, that came along the Silk Road and so on into China. You've got a few of the different nationalities here, the odd sort of bit of Japanese and so on. But apart from that, everyone else is very much Chinese, and the Chinese population is still by far the majority. But that's kind of the non-Chinese that you notice as you get off. So, in terms of leads, of course, you'll want to stay at a hotel of some sorts. But in terms of the general leads that you've got at the moment, just to remind you, so you know that Elias came to Hong Kong and you think maybe Shanghai as well in September last. He spoke to Sir Godfrey about the Order of the Bloated Woman, did a bit of research there. You also obtained the matchbook of the Stumbling Tiger Bar, which is one of your main leads, potentially, from his room. And there's also, again, the photo that you think is of some boats in Shanghai, with the boat saying DAR on the side. Also, you know that the Ivory Wind was meant to stop in Shanghai as its last stop on the journey, delivering some sort of strange machine parts and all sorts of weird statues and so on. Although you haven't seen it as of yet, and you didn't see it on the way up north either. You also know the Ivory Wind and the captain and so on works for somebody called Ho Fang, or rather Ho Fong, I should probably say it correctly, whose name has been on all sorts of crates and paperwork that you've come across all around the world. So whoever he is, or possibly she, obviously has their fingers in several pockets. Also, certainly Jack Brady's been seen in Shanghai. You know that Roger told you that he might still be here. But also you've got Gavagan's letter addressed to the Pale Viper, whoever that is, saying that Brady is apparently still in Shanghai. And it was an unfinished letter, so it may well be that was quite recent. But yeah, those are your main leads. There's a few other bits as well. Like I know that you wanted to possibly look for a madam with a lot of influence in the area who may have access to spell books and so on, that Bundari pointed Annie in the direction of. But I think those were the main ones you have. Apart from your various other little issues, like getting a new sword for Pranit and getting rid of your indefinite insanity and so on.
May I get a katana? In order to set into the culture.
Oh. Yes, possibly.
No, that's Japanese.
It is Japanese. Although, again, there is a few Japanese people around, so you never know. So everyone regains sanity potentially, depending on how well they do at the end of each chapter. Okay, so hotels then. There are plenty. Let me just get that map up again. I mean, there is a huge mix. There is your quite sort of small, cozy guest houses. There are your much more high profile, obviously owned by whites and non-Chinese people along the riverfront, like the Hung Sheng Hotel. There's things like even sort of monasteries and temples you could even stay at if you approach them in the right way. All sorts. Did you have anything particular in mind?
Well, if you're looking at the status quo until now, Charles is going to pay for the most expensive hotel in Shanghai. Even though I actually don't mind staying at one with less pretenses, less expensive, since we are just sleeping there. But I do know that an open bar may be.
I prefer sleeping with humans over cockroaches.
Well, you see, whilst I fully appreciate Pranit, the boy, that you enjoy, that you're quite happy with fairly modest sort of room. I like a bit of plush, and the open bar doesn't help. It really doesn't hurt at all to have an open bar as well, but it's mostly for the plush. And I figure if I'm going to have plush, you may as well have plush as well.
Okay.
Very kind of you.
Okay, so you ask around a little bit. Basically, the main sort of nice place close to where you are, if you're interested in the map, it's number 13, called the Palace Hotel.
Yeah, that was the one I
so
was looking at.
plenty of like walking distance within the international settlement. If you want to go further out, yeah, there's the Hungshen Hotel, which is number 19. So that's in the French concession. Bear in mind, once you get out of the international settlement, far fewer people speak English. Again, given, say, the French concession, you presume that people are going to speak quite a lot of French there, but even so. Also, the way things like the law is handled is different depending on what district you might be in.
We're going to need a translator then.
There are plenty, and in the Palace Hotel, kind of like you found at the Shepherd, there are plenty of what are called compradors who are on hire.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to get one. Not only translate, but also kind of explain to you how customs and business work in China, which is really quite different from anywhere else you've been so far, even Egypt.
A proper guide, in other words.
Yes. Yep. A guide, a middleman, a translator. They are a jack of all trades. So you do indeed obtain one, again, fairly easily. His name is Li Wen Chung, and just to warn you, kind of like Egypt again, there's going to be a lot of non-English names in this one. So if you need me to type any in chat, then just say. But this is your man Li Wen Chung. He's quite mild-mannered and, of course, very hospitable. You notice that he occasionally does the sign of the cross. He is a Christian.
Oh.
Or he makes like the odd
didn't manage to
remark.
escape our.
Sorry, I didn't catch that, Pranit.
I mean, I was thinking that he wasn't able to escape our fellow Europeans' indoctrination, apparently.
Do you actually say that to him?
No, of course not.
Okay. Cool, yeah. But yes, he is happy to help with anything. I assume that you freshen up at least, maybe even get a
Yes.
few hours shut eye.
Yeah, I would suggest, let's get a few hours shut eye. Let's have an evening. What time have we actually arrived at?
Let's say you arrived at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, say a couple hours shut eye. Maybe have an early dinner, and discuss our plans then.
Okay. So even just small things like eating, if you want him there, then he talks to you about how to eat in China. Things like if you have a big bowl of food, if you take everything, then they will replace it with another bowl, and how it's very rude to leave a tiny amount on the plate by itself and things like that. He's happy to get you drink and food and again translate for any orders and things like that.
I assume we're not speaking about our plan in front of him.
No.
Right? All right.
No.
But like I said, if you don't want him there at a certain point, then he is happy to excuse himself.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have dinner together and then discuss about things in one of our bedrooms. I believe that might work.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. We won't be overheard at all.
Okay, no problem. So he takes his leave, and he basically says that if you contact the front desk when you need him next, he will be there, night or day.
All right. Thank you very much.
Xia.
So, I think we should hit sort of multiple fronts, at least 2 fronts, go in teams. If we can have one, whatever clues we can we need to look at in the international district. If one sort of team looks there, and then the other team can go elsewhere, and they can take the translator, because we won't need them in the international district because they mostly speak English. We need them outside.
Makes sense.
And we
I
get
mean-
a second translator if it's a problem. But yeah, no, I agree with the plan.
Well, just to clarify, in terms of when I said it's not that like the whole international settlement mostly speaks English. What I mean is in terms of Shanghai as a whole, that is where the majority of non-Chinese people speak English. Again, there's still plenty of Chinese people all around who almost certainly won't speak English at all. So it doesn't mean that every single place is going to be full of English people, like kind of like in Kenya. It's not like that. At all.
On the balance of probabilities, we more need them
Yes.
outside of the international
Yeah.
zone
Sure.
than in
Yeah.
it.
Do we manage to get a map from the front desk at the hotel?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I put the map in the Facebook chat. With the Stumbling Tiger Bar, you know that's on Lantern Street.
All right, that was my second question.
Oh, yes, you also have an address for Ho Fong. You presume it's a business address of sorts. I can't remember what that is at the top of my head. Let me just have a look at the thing.
Just
It is on the
looking.
Myra board.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, Cao Yang Street. I might have to give you a general point as to where that is.
Yeah, because we've got a map of the streets, just none of the names of them.
Yeah.
So they're kind of meaningless to us.
Yeah.
I found with these maps they're a little bit selective for the players, because
I mean,
like with some things they're not there at all, and then other things it's like, really, why are you putting that on the player map?
I mean, it gives all the the sort of places of interest all nicely keyed, but it doesn't have street names.
No. So let me get up a map of my own then. If I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Okay, and where's Lantern Street? Okay. So I haven't got a map with actual street names on it, but I can certainly tell you roughly where Lantern Street is and Kanyang Street and so on.
Okay.
So if you see the Wangpu River, that big river, there are a couple of branches going off. The smaller one on the right side, a little bit up there, is Lantern Street, and that's right next to the waterfront pretty much. In terms of the address you have for Ho Fong, that is along that section of the Wangpu River out towards the east, so further along from Lantern Street and so on.
What was the relevance of Lantern Street again?
Lantern Street is where the Stumbling Tiger Bar is.
Right. And all we had for that was a matchbox.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there is that photograph as well of the ships.
Of the ship.
Well, let's look at what we actually want to do. We want to try and identify this Dar boat, if it's at all possible. So, I mean, the odds of spotting it in the harbour just out there aren't great, but I would suggest that what we need to do is speak to some dock workers and or harbour master. So that's going to require the translator. We can have a check on the Ivory Wind with the harbour master. Again, translator for that. Other than that, I mean, other than searching various brothels in the hope of finding a madam who happens to have some spell books, seems a bit of a stretch. I'm not sure if any of the things we've got, other than the Stumbling Tiger Bar, is a place we can go to and see if we luck into something. There's kind of our only two things that actually have a place that we can just sort of go to.
Yeah.
I don't think we
And
want to
for
go
both.
to Ho Fong until we've got a bit more info.
Yeah, I was thinking we do actually need the translator for both locations.
Well, in that case, I would suggest we all go together on both of them.
Yeah.
We don't split, because there's no point splitting the party where half of us don't have a translator.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's happened loads of times. Just that,
Yes, but we're making a concerted effort to live.
yes. Okay, so where to first? Was it something Tiger Bar?
Actually, I would suggest the harbour simply because realistically, we're going to pass near the harbour on the way to the bar. From what I gather from the directions, we're going to be walking right past the flipping river.
Yeah, I mean, Wampu is big. It's like the Thames sort of big. And in fact, as you look round towards where this address is, you can sort of see a little bit. It's almost like, you know, Canary Wharf, and all down there. For those of you who are more familiar with London. And I'm just trying to find that bit of info. Here we go. Yeah. So as you find out quite quickly, any sort of official inquiries, business chat, and so on is all done very, very sociably, very amicably. You arrange a time or a meeting. You sit down. You might even exchange gifts, refreshments, and so on with each other. With the harbour master, it's a little different because they are, of course, working. But one of them, who is a little bit more, you know, European inclined, is happy to take you to one side. Let's see, because it was about 2 o'clock when you arrived, and yeah, you kind of took a few hours, had an early dinner. So yeah, I'll say that he'd finished his shift by that point. So he takes you into his office.
I was going to say, if we go to the harbour master, we should bring some gift like cigarettes or some drink. But also, it's probably just worth a little walk around the harbour first, just on the off chance we can see this boat.
Yeah.
You never know, it might be permanent here. But,
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth
so
it. Yeah, I think
it's worth just a little walk around first, and then go to the harbour master and say, "Do you know this boat?"
Yeah, the one with DAR on it doesn't look particularly big, does it?
Have you seen this suspicious boat?
Have you seen this boat? Okay, I'm just trying to find a bit on it for you. I have read this
surviving
chapter.
till next week. I depend on it.
I have read this chapter, but in terms of where bits are, I'm still kind of getting used to that. So bear with a second.
And the howl of the banshee in the background.
Yeah. Okay.
The number of final spins it appears to have done. Sorry, final verse if it's a banshee.
Yeah. Oh, they've split it across sections. But anyway, so yeah, you managed to get into his office. He seems to be he's somebody who's lived in China for a while, and he's happy to do the whole kind of gift exchange and so on. He offers you tea and so on. Do you show him the photo immediately, or like how do you approach the subject?
I do believe that we should inquire about the ivory wind first.
Yeah, I agree.
That's actually the one we know about, and then we can find our way to see. And there was this other boat. I can't remember the name. Or something.
Yep. Yep, that's a plan. That's the way.
Okay. Okay, so he thinks for a little while. Yes, I do remember there being a ship called the Ivory Wind. I've not seen it for a few days at least, but I have seen one recently. Big cargo ship, right?
Can you
Yes,
remember when it was here?
Oh, I mean, if I'm honest, you don't look like the type who would work on there. You look a bit more prim and proper for that, but you've missed it by maybe a week at the most.
Oh, damn. That's a bit unfair. Poor
Well,
Do you have its import manifest by chance?
I do. If you give me some time to find it.
Sure.
Tom. Certainly.
In terms of where it was docked, it did the main river for a little bit, but then I think it moved round to Ho Feng's warehouse, which is a bit further up, or rather downstream. Stay there for a little while, and then I don't believe anyone was on board it for a couple of nights at least, and then sailed off fairly swiftly. Although I suppose it's called the Ivory Wind for a reason, eh? So yeah, he gets out. It's only a rough copy of the manifest, since he's sort of inspected it, and then it's gone its way. Looking through it, you can't see anything new or different to what else you've inspected with this manifest. It's all quite mundane looking
I was
stuff.
hoping because it be import manifest, it will have the final destinations on. Is it all Ho Feng?
Yeah. So the final destination is Shanghai. So whether it's simply going home or whether it's possibly going somewhere else, you don't know.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask him if he knew where the ship was going next.
I'm afraid not. This was its last destination. It's come from London, so I assumed it was starting its first leg of the journey back there. Captain, though, was well, he obviously likes his drink, but certainly on the way out, I didn't really get a word with him. He was very eager to get away quite quick.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he had another sort of contract.
Maybe.
You don't know if he loaded to take stuff away at all.
No, quite the opposite, actually. It does come across a little odd now that I think about it. Because a big ship like that, yeah, it would make sense for him to be taking things back to London again, but no. He left very, very quickly.
What if he's going to try and find some of the stuff that got offloaded in wrong places?
Okay. In terms of, oh, sorry.
No, carry on.
No, you go first.
I was just going to ask about the other boat and sort of show the photo and say, I don't suppose this. Do you know this boat at all? Do you? Yeah, have another bit of drink. Have a cigarette.
Oh, you're very kind. You're very kind. I do recognize that ship. I believe its full name is the Dark Mistress.
Ew.
It comes into port
currently
every. No, not at the moment. It does come in every so often. I can try and find out from some of the clerks who owns it. I don't have the manifest to hand.
Yes, that would be
Good
most
to know.
agreeable. Thank you.
Yeah. Does it have a regular route then? If it's in here quite a lot.
Well, it's a luxury yacht. It doesn't appear to have any cargo or business connections or anything like that. Aside from possible business connections here in Shanghai, but I would need to look and see who owns it.
Yes, that would be most helpful. Thank you so much.
And maybe I'll have some cigarettes for you as well by the time I get the name.
Oh, there's no need
customary in Shanghai to exchange gifts.
Oh, we're just happy for the information. That is a gift in itself.
Yes.
Very well. And I don't know if you wait, but he
Mhm.
is intending to kind of make some phone calls and things like that.
Yep. Waiting.
All right.
Yeah, we'll wait.
So yeah, he makes a few phone calls, speaks to a central post office, you think, as well, and he nods after about half an hour after his fourth phone call, puts it down. Well, looks like there's a couple of boats that are quite affiliated with this Ho Fong, but the person who owns the boat officially, the Dark Mistress, is apparently somebody called Alfred Penhurst, presumably an Englishman.
Yes, that explains a lot. So if he owns it, he's still kicking around. I wonder if that's where Brady is. Excellent. And you haven't seen the Dark Mistress for what, a week or so?
Yeah, give or take a week, maybe 10 days. But it does make periodic entries into port.
I don't. I know this is possibly a fool's question and possibly an imposition on you. This Penhurst fellow, this person who owns it, is he local?
Well, like I said, it sounds British, which makes sense from what he was telling me on the records. Not owned by anybody Chinese and so on. It's definitely this Penhurst fellow. Then again, there are plenty of rich British people here who very much, myself included, like Shanghai as a place and don't really want to leave.
Yes, that's why I was wondering if maybe he resided here.
He may well do.
The Dark Mistress was his little pleasure boat, so to speak.
Yes. I mean, if you say you owned the Dark Mistress yourself and, you wanted to take it elsewhere across the seven seas, it'd be quite difficult to take it far. You might be able to take it to, say, Japan, but it's a fairly small vessel.
So just a little small sailing dinghy then.
Oh, well, no, not a dinghy, far from it. It's a luxury yacht, but at the same time, it's not designed for heavy loads or anything like that, from what my colleague was telling me.
Does it tie up at a particular dock when it's in port?
I
Does it
have
a particular home.
I have heard it stop at Ho Fong's warehouse a few times. Maybe goes further in, but really I can only get a few tidbits on exactly where it stops. I don't know if there's a pattern or anything.
I beg your pardon. Ofang? Is that some sort of... what kind of place is that? They don't stay at the harbor.
Oh, Mr. Ho Fong is quite a prestigious businessman, apparently. He has a warehouse further upstream. Apparently, he has quite a fancy mansion as well somewhere. But yeah, I don't have any dealings with him. He has his own set of docks, really, and I tend to stay out of his way.
All right. Well, sounds, I don't know you guys, but sounds a little bit odd, that a luxury yacht stays in front of a warehouse, unless for a specific reason, I suppose.
Well, particularly if it's not big enough to carry huge loads, then it can't be loading very much.
I have a couple of thoughts on this. I'll discuss when we're not in front of the harbour master. But...
Yeah, exactly.
How far up the river do you think the that boat could get?
Oh, it could easily get all the way up the river. Or are you talking inland rather than
Inland? Yeah, sorry, yeah. Not out to sea, no.
Well, the Wangpu River is very, very long. I mean, I've never seen the boat up close myself. So river boating as well is quite different from sailing out in open waters. So I really don't know. I suppose it depends on how good the helmsman is. But in terms of engine capacity, it could get a good 100 miles, maybe more, before it has to stop and top up.
I don't know if I as a player missed it, but did they specify every once in a while when the dock mistress harbors wherever it does, how long do they usually stay before leaving again?
Oh, no, you didn't. I'm afraid I'm not sure. Like I say, I only see it every so often, and it's either coming in or stopping up somewhere for a bit.
You have
Would
the
Hong Kong
dock
be in it?
manifest.
Sorry, you both talked at once.
Would Hong Kong be in its range?
It could be. Yeah, it could maybe get there.
Do you have the dock manifest for the warehouse?
No. Like I said, Ho Fung is quite shrewd with his business, and I stay out of his way completely.
That's a shame.
I suppose you could always arrange a business meeting with him if you really wanted to meet him. But I am not the man to deal with that for you.
Do you know what particular business he's in? Or is it just
Imports and exports.
general import and export? Yes.
I don't know exactly what it is he imports and exports, but he certainly seems to have a clean slate where the police are concerned. I've not heard of him getting into any trouble or scandals.
Oh, no. I've no intent to question the integrity of the man. Was just curious as to his line of business.
Probably for the best.
Oh?
Yes, well, like I said, he's quite an influential man around here. Good to be on his good side.
Thank you. We'll bear that in mind.
Although, and he lowers his voice a little bit. He says, although I have heard that occasionally there's rumors going around that he's not paid enough tax and things like that. You know, makes a little bit of shortcuts and things every so often. But then round here, that's
a bit dodgy.
Yeah, but round here, that's common. That's common for rich men.
Yeah, I mean, to stay rich.
It may be common for your kind of rich. I'm going to go outside before I say something I may very well not regret.
What's up with your friend?
He probably just needed some air.
I tend to stay away from that edge of the docks. It stinks. Maybe a good old Pijo will calm him down. Beer. Chinese for beer.
Yeah, he might go for a soft drink this time.
Well, tea is good as well.
No, I meant he normally drinks spirits.
All right.
Quite an impressive rate.
An amount.
All right. So, anything else you want to do with the harbour master?
No.
Nothing legal.
Nothing comes to mind, though.
No,
I mean, thinking of stuff I could ask him, but nothing comes up as of yet.
Verdus. All right. So, where to next?
I believe the Stumbling Tiger was our next.
Yeah, I think we should have a. Are we going to have a quick conflab regarding what we've heard from?
Yeah, we'll have a little chat on the way because, I mean, obviously Penhue Foundation, right?
Yeah.
It's Penhurst rather than
Penhurst.
Yeah, different name. That's what.
Oh, no, we've heard Penhue.
Oh, it's Alfred
Alfred Penhurst, he said.
Penhurst.
Penhurst.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, Penhurst Foundation. So obviously you'd think evil, but I just wonder if that's what Brady is using to get about.
Yeah.
If he's nicked it, if Alfred is dead.
It's possible.
No, it's Aubrey Penhurst.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Two different things.
Aubrey Penhue.
Penhue. Aubrey Penhue, but he said Alfred Penhurst.
Yeah.
Oh, so we don't know who
Okay.
Alfred Penhurst is.
Unless it's a nom de plume.
It could be just an alias, yeah.
Could be
I'm
an alias.
sure I've heard Penhurst mentioned during this campaign.
Yeah.
I had hoped.
Only
I had hoped. I was very serious about asking him about the dock manifest. There's usually, anyone who docks in a harbour, has to say, I'm at this is my boat, I'm at this pier, in case of damages or something. Someone would have to sign it. So we'd have a signature at least.
Yeah. Still, if you're rich, rules don't apply equally.
Plus,
Yeah,
we'd have a definite idea of when it docked, when it left, when it came back forward. Or we'd have some idea of see if there was a pattern regarding how long it's away and so on.
If this Alfred Penhurst is European, could he be the Pale Viper?
That's possible.
Good connection. It's certainly. Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the Morrow board, I can't at the moment see any Penhurst, but Pale Viper from Penhue's place.
Yeah,
We're either looking at somebody new that we know nothing about in any regard. Could be Pale Viper. Could be someone using an alias.
Yeah, because the initials being the same.
Which brings Aubrey Penhue or somebody from the Penhue Foundation back into play.
In terms of like a Alfred Penhurst AP and so on, you've seen obviously there's Aubrey Penhue who that is. You've seen there was like a slip from Omar Al-Shakti's home with the initials AP, which you thought could be Aubrey Penhue, and it was linked to China in terms of paperwork. And then anything else of that nature was marked as the Pale Viper, which also links to China and Shanghai.
So it could be. We see could be. We don't have enough to do anything other than speculate right now. But
still, if you think about it, usually we are the stupid ones. I mean, I don't really see any member of the cult getting an alias with the same initials. That's stupid. I mean, I may be a little bit cynical, but still, I mean, if I'm changing my name, completely.
I would only say two things in counter to that, and I agree. It's a little too on the nose, but back in the 1920s, they weren't as cynical about their aliases as they are now. And if he's the kind of guy who only signs by his initials, then having an alias for the same initials would kind of make sense.
Can we sort of go past the warehouse on the way to the bar?
It's the opposite direction.
It would be.
You could go in a big circle if you wanted.
let's do the bar first. Would we be passing that dock on the way back to the hotel?
No. So the hotel is basically just south of the consulates.
Yeah.
Number 13.
Yeah.
Lantern Street is between the consulates and the harbour master, basically. And then Ho Fong's warehouse is further along the river to the east.
It's up to you guys. We either hit the bar first and then do a big circle round, or we take a look at the dock first and then circle back to the bar.
Yeah, I mean, if it was going past the warehouse, we should have had a look. But I mean, I don't think, according to the harbour master, there's no shipping at the moment, so it's possibly not urgent.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go to the pub before it closes, and we have to come back tomorrow.
Well, it's only about 6 o'clock, so the night is young.
Yes, but we're strangers in a strange land.
You are indeed. Right, so the Stumbling Tiger Bar it is.
Given we know this is a cultist location, do we all want to go inside on first visit?
Nope.
Good point.
Wow, no hesitation at all there, Ronnie.
Perhaps two of us could wait in something over the street. Is there like a cafe opposite or something convenient?
So in this part of the city, there are many bars, many brothels, many opium dens. Some look more shady than others, and as you go along, you hear various noises and so on. In fact, you think maybe a couple of them could be gang-owned. There are a few gangs in Shanghai. But yeah, you could easily, wait across somewhere or head to somewhere adjacent.
Yeah, I think if a couple of us wait there, armed and ready to spring into action, and we'll listen out for gunshots.
Yeah, I don't have a gun.
It comes down to who's going in.
Well, didn't Charles sort out paperwork for?
Yeah,
for
I
guns?
only have a rifle. I don't have a gun per
Do
se.
you have a pistol?
No, I do not.
No, that's true. You don't. Just
Then
a
I would
rifle.
suggest Pranit's one of the ones who remains outside.
Without a gun.
Well, no, maybe you're going inside.
Yeah, I mean, I can go in. I will try and deal with hand-to-hand combat.
I don't. Are you the one going in, or do you want to stay outside? I can pass you my revolver. I can go with the knife.
Yeah, I mean, both are fine. The only thing that I only have a pocket knife.
Well,
Okay.
it's unlikely to explode into violence, but somebody who goes in needs to carry a gun, and if it's fired, the two that are outside will rush in.
You do have your awesome Sikh boomerangs, your boomerang blades, which
Yes.
I can't remember what the hell they're called.
But quite. I don't know.
You
the
do still
correct
have those.
pronunciation. Yes. All right. Oh, no, nothing. I can defend myself.
Yeah, it was only your sword that was taken.
Okay, we need to pick up a
Well,
handgun.
not only, of course, but
That's
quantity-wise.
pissed. Very pissed.
Right. So who's going in? Who's staying outside?
I can stay outside if you want.
Well, I can go in. I've got a 45.
Okay, and you two go in, Ronnie and Charles and Perry.
Okay.
Pranit and I will wait outside.
So just so we're clear, the person who immediately went nope, is the one going in. Okay.
You didn't say nope to going in. You said nope to all of us going in.
That is very true. No, I'll go
Would you
in.
like me to go in? I can go in. I don't mind.
No, I'll go in.
There we go. Stop
I'll go
moaning.
in.
Shh.
Well, he's got a good cover.
Okay.
It's like
Sorry,
a cat is in and out.
Drunk in the bar is a good cover.
Yes. However, as you're making your way up the street, it's kind of towards the end, up the top, because it's number 10 Lantern Street. As you're going up, there's, like I said, lots of different brothels, bars, and so on along here. But one thing that catches your eye actually is you notice on your left, there are quite a lot of bright lights on in this specific building. And you see a police officer, a Chinese police officer. He's talking in Chinese, so you don't know exactly what they're saying, but you notice that he's wiping his hands on a bloodied rag, and he gets out a notepad and starts writing things down, asking questions and so on.
Nice part of town.
Mm.
Do we
Yeah.
have our translator with us?
I was just about to ask you that actually.
I suppose we do.
Yeah.
Mm.
Since
So
we don't
We
know
should leave
shit
in the
about this
bar.
place.
If it's a bar frequented by Europeans, then they should be able to at least understand the basics.
But yeah, so if we've got a translator with us, I'm gonna ask the question: is that normal?
In this part of town,
Oh well, it can happen. Yes. I do not wish to speak ill of my city, but there are some people here who do not like the way things are going, shall we say? So
How are they going?
they are going fine. They are going fine. But some people do not like it, and there are sometimes episodes of violence. It can happen.
I mean, I'm not trying to point my finger on anybody, but is it because of Europeans, for example?
It is not really my place to talk about such things.
I mean, it's general news. I mean, just to know if we need more my friends than I be concerned about violence on our persons.
Well, you are tourists, so tourists can be targeted. So it is good to be careful in some places. Pickpocketers, things like that. People who try to sell you things you don't want as well. Swindle you of your money. But that is a flower girl house anyway. So-
Flower girl house,
Yes.
a brothel.
Yes.
All right.
So that place could easily be run by the Green Gang, and you see him try and take a little look in without people noticing him. Green Gang are bad business. They are criminal underbelly of Shanghai. That's what the Europeans call them anyway, Green Gang.
And what do the locals call them?
I don't actually have the name because it's not mentioned anywhere in the book.
Green Gang, but in Chinese.
Yes. Yes.
All right, we should get moving then. Before we are asked some questions we're not able to answer.
Okay. So yeah, you heading up the street. There's a few gambling houses as well, you notice down here, but you eventually get to the Stumbling Tiger Bar, which is identified by both English and Chinese symbols. But you also see, which very much matches the matchbox, the image of basically a drunk tiger stumbling over a stone. So basically, when you go in, it's a big single room, pretty dark and quite dirty, with this sort of load of lucid green posters of Chinese film stars and singers and so on the wall. You get a huge amount of lingering, very old smoke from cigarettes and so on. And also you hear every so often the sound of quack as people, quite commonplace in China, they spit in spittoons, which also causes a bit of a horrible smell. You certainly don't want to knock into one of those spittoons when you're drunk, that's for sure. It's a horrible stink. But anyway, so there's a few different men inside, mostly men, a couple of women. One in particular you notice who is being really quite loud and drunk is, by the looks of it, a Japanese guy. When he almost kind of falls into the bar every so often and asks for a drink, but not in Chinese. Biro kawaii kudasai! Like really loudly holding up his glass, very, very obviously. And the barman, who, interestingly, he's got a very, very clean cloth and he's wiping glasses with. He just rolls his eyes and says, yes, your usual, okay, yes. And he starts getting the same from him again, which looks like some kind of rice wine.
I suggest that whatever we're doing here, my friend, we do it very quickly. I don't like the idea of coming into any area where I have to wipe my feet on the way out.
So remind me, who's coming into the bar?
Me and Perry, I think.
You and Perry, okay. Are you taking your comprador with you?
No.
Okay.
Well, I tell you why. The fact that it's got English, the fact that the signposts are English is a good chance that the people we need to speak to already know English. So we're okay there. I'm more worried about the leaving the European white lady on that street with no translator, with everyone coming up and possibly asking how much.
We're going to go get coffee. It's fine. You take the translator. You might need them because translator might hear something said about you.
Like how much for me? I don't think.
He might
Like,
something we missed.
Let's find out where they live and set fire to their hotel again.
Yeah, they want to get some different moves, don't they?
I like that one. It's predictable and we're never in. It's like feeling of home.
Okay, we will take the translator. I was more worried about,
It's fine.
But yes, we will go in with a translator, and as I say, whatever we're doing it quickly, because I never like the idea of walking into a place where I have to wipe my feet on the way out.
It might not be that bad in there.
So the barman, he's still sort of wiping these glasses with this incredibly clean cloth. Looks up at you and he says, "Oh, I see you are fresh off the boat. Good evening."
Evening. Two
Stiff
whiskeys,
drink?
please.
To whiskey, no problem.
Yes, your finest whiskey, please.
Oh, Canadian then. Excellent.
Oh, you have come from far. No Canadian whiskey here, but I do have good Chinese whiskey.
Chinese
If you're
whiskey?
staying a while, I recommend.
Never tried that.
I will not say anything. I will be dumb. Yes, let us try your good Chinese whiskey.
Oh, British. I have how you say, extended family from Scotland.
Oh, I don't suppose they brought any whiskey back with them, did they? In their visits?
Well, now you mention it, they didn't. But if you're willing to pay extra, maybe I could open my special stash.
Oh, what can I say? A little taste of home. Perfect. Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Open away, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
So he gets out. Come on. There you go. He gets out this rather nice but dusty bottle of Glenfiddich.
Ooh.
I see your family haven't been home in quite a while.
No. My friends still call me McChum, like the Scot, I guess. But my proper name is Mr. Fergus Chum.
Well, Fergus old McChum, two of those lovely Glenfiddichs.
Oh,
do
only
you take
only
yours,
two?
sir? Well, if you'd like one for yourself, I think it's only fair.
It is my whiskey after all.
Well,
And
absolutely fair it is. Get another glass out. Yes.
he carefully opens it up and pours it out. You can see that his fingernails are incredibly stained with nicotine and smoke.
Perry, boy, do you take yours neat or ice or a little water or
Just neat, please.
Yes, neat. That's what we like.
Yeah, one thing about I believe this is the case in 1920s, that there's not really a thing with ice and water like from the taps in China. So anything like that is just put in a freezer. If you want it cold, glass is put in a freezer sort of thing. But yeah, he pours them out neat.
Ugh.
Don't drink all at once. Then again, you are the customer, as long as you pay.
Ooh, that's
You monster.
That's got a kick, doesn't it? Yes.
That's what you have to roll a sanity for that.
Kick me again.
You can definitely tell it's the real thing.
Kick me again.
If you say please.
Please. Yes.
As long as you pay.
Oh, the hand over. How much for a glass of this? I tell you what. How much for the whole bottle for the three of us to share?
Let's make it 21.
What's the exchange rate?
I'll have to double check, but 21 is pretty expensive in the 1920s. So I know about now a yuan is, I think, 10 pence, but it would have been much more expensive around that time of 20s. Yuan. I think it's something like it's the same as 10 Mexican silver dollars, something like that.
Wow, that is expensive.
He's put a hell of an import duty on the damn thing, hasn't he?
Legal tender. Here we go. Yeah, so basically, Mexican silver dollars are widely accepted in Shanghai. 1 British pound sterling is worth 10 yuan.
So basically
2 British pounds. 2 British pounds. Pittance for you, but still pretty expensive.
Come here. I hand over £3. That's the 2 for the bottle. And this is an extra 1 for you being a damned fine host, sir.
Well, I suppose third is compensation for me having to go and take time to exchange this into money I can actually spend.
Well, yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, you're absolutely right. Here, this should take care of the exchange rate.
Thank you very much.
Little bastard.
I was muted, but I said, "What a piece of shit."
Not chum does not come cheap.
Yeah, he knows
Not
what he's doing.
nice.
It's a nice establishment you've got here.
It's not much. Many people like to come and go, though. It is a place to drown their sorrows. I provide that.
Yes, I've heard. Friend, who's that friend of yours, Perry O'Boy, that was telling us about this place?
Oh, you mean that Brady guy?
Yeah, that's the chappie.
He's the one that told me about the bar.
Sorry, who? How do you spell that?
Brady, Jack Brady.
Jack Brady. Ah.
Yes, he's been here. Said it was a good bar. If it was ever in Shanghai, we should check it out.
Oh,
Did he chat to
didn't
you
know.
at all? Did he get to enjoy the McChum?
That's a funny name for it, but I like it. I have not heard of somebody called that. Friend of yours?
I think I've got a picture of us.
That yes,
here.
yes, Picky, yes,
I'll
yes.
show you a picture. Yeah, this is taken a few years back when we was in Africa.
Africa. Oh. Ah, yeah, of course. Your tans. You're like lobster.
Well, I'm not actually in the picture. I'm taking it. So that's Brady there.
Oh. Perry, give your psychology a tick. He recognized the name, and he definitely recognizes the face, but he is very, very much keeping his cards close to his chest. Oh, he looks familiar. He may have come in here once or twice, but lots of English too. They see the English sign and they think there's an Englishman serving. It's quite funny, really.
Yes. Well, you said it was a pretty decent bar. So I lost track of him after Africa, and we in the area. We thought we'd see if we could track him down.
Yes. He talked about this bar like it was like it was his local. Is that what he said? Frequent flyer miles and all that. Yes, that he was here a lot. Something like that.
And you think he's still here? Why are you looking for him?
Well, we've got a bit of work to put his way.
The people he was in Africa with, they're having their 5-year reunion, and he's trying to get out of them.
Wait, so you want him to go to this reunion? Are you part of what? Did you go to school together? Is that it?
No, we were in Africa together.
What? So at school in Africa? What? You went on safari or something?
Yeah, in the picture. Point to the picture.
Well, yeah, but none of you are in it. That's why I'm asking.
I'm taking the picture. That's why I'm not in it.
What about your friend? He points to Charles. Where were you?
Charles was.
Oh no! I'm just tagging along with my friend here.
Oh, okay. So this, and he points back at Perry. So you and this Mr. Brady are good friends, yes?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Ah. Well, I hope you find him.
Oh, I think you could probably enlighten us to where he is. It'd probably be worth your while.
It would.
Nudge
Yeah.
Charles.
Yes, I could possibly see a way to getting, well, enough to get yourself a few bottles of the old Glenfiddich, or whatever you fancied.
Well, I said before, gentlemen, McChum does not come cheap. I see lots of people come and go.
Slip him a 20.
He takes it, but looks at you again as if he wants more.
Slip him another.
Okay. Ooh. Perry, you're doing well with passive rolls. Give your spot hidden a tick. You also noticed that drunk Japanese guy earlier. He's just been sitting on his own at a table fairly close to the bar, and you noticed actually that he's been watching you two for a bit. But then if you look back at him, he kind of tries to act like he wasn't looking at you.
Okay, I'm making note of that, and we'll have to watch where he goes when we get out.
So McChum takes the rest of the money and makes a point of pocketing it. And he takes a good long look up and down the bar. And
Yes, you could say he's over there.
well, not up and down the bar, but as in up and down the whole establishment. He leans in very closely and says, "It is not safe to talk here. Maybe we meet in another time. Yes."
Where and when?
Can you come round the back at midnight?
We'll look at Charles. Yeah, we could probably manage that.
I will be looking up.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll look back around again and see what this other guy's doing.
Yes, so he's kind of stumbling a bit. He tries to get up, but he almost knocks his chair over. You had enough again. Go home already. But he's a bit determined to get another drink. And he says in really quite slurred English with a thick Japanese accent, "I'm fine. It's good." And he staggers up to the bar again.
At this
Orders another
point,
drink.
at this point, I sort of lean into Fergus and say, "Give it, whatever he's drinking, give him the really strong version. Don't worry, I'll pay the extra."
McChum has kind of gone to the back of the bar to get another drink, but you think as well that he's kind of avoiding talking too closely to you now, just in case. But he might have heard you. You don't know. But he still gets another rice wine for this Japanese guy. Thank you. And he's just this big smile, and then he turns around and almost spills the entire glass on the floor.
Oops, a daisy.
He's going to have a headache tomorrow.
Perry Astor, you're rolling well tonight.
Oh,
As he spills almost his entire glass on the floor. I mean, I don't actually know how much Perry drinks overall, but you've seen Charles drink and hold himself together and things, and you actually think that this guy might not be as drunk as he's appearing to be.
Yeah,
he's overcompensating.
Yeah.
He's faking it. I'll say to Charles, I don't think he's that drunk.
No, I don't either. His spilling of his drink was a little too obvious.
Perhaps we should leave and maybe follow him, see where he goes.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you very much for the drinks. Do keep the bottle. We might be back to help you finish it off.
Oh, keep my own bottle. How good of you to let me keep my own bottle.
Cheeky little bastard. Just head out.
Okay. You head out into the rather humid, warm air.
Wipe my feet on the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The two of you, by the way, while you've been waiting outside, not much has really happened. Although, if you were looking back down the street, you would have noticed that the officer had kind of finished up what he was doing and had taken his leave. It's getting on now to about 8 o'clock at night. It's starting to get. It's not fully dark yet. It's, let's say, twilight. It's quite loud along this street now. There's a few drunk people coming out of places, moving along almost like a pub crawl sort of thing. So again, there's so many bars along here. There's music, like kind of ringing of bells and stuff. So it is becoming quite din-like and a bit chaotic.
I just want to hang around for a little bit and keep maybe a couple of doors down and just keep a watch on the bar. See if this
See if this Japanese
guy
gentleman comes out.
Okay, well, you come out, and I'm assuming that the other two are still outside. You haven't moved on anywhere.
No, if nothing happened, we haven't.
Yeah, not really anything apart from that's happened. Yeah, so you see the other two come out. You can smell a little bit of whiskey on their breath.
Oh, how did it go? Did you find lots of information?
We found some information.
Define lots.
Well, if you pretended to be one of the cultists and infiltrated them.
No, I'm not good at lying, dear.
Well, pretended to know one of the cultists, this Alfred Penhurst or even Aubrey Penhew, or, somebody like that. Or Gavigan, or, pretended to be one of the bad guys, or know one of the bad guys. I mean, then you could have, sort of spoken to people. And did you do that? No? Did you just have a drink?
Yeah, we just had a drink. A nice chat.
We went to a bar. Of course we had a bloody drink.
Okay.
What bars are there for?
What did you do when you were in there?
We
found out
drank.
He definitely remembers Brady. Brady's definitely.
Oh, right. You asked about Brady in a cultist bar.
We don't know it's a cultist bar. It could be just
a
bar.
We sort of did. Oh, good grief. Next thing you know, you'll have arranged to meet him in a dark alley.
We've got an arrangement. We got an arranged meeting in a dark alley.
Oh my word! No, that doesn't sound terribly productive.
But there was another gentleman there, a Japanese gentleman, who seemed to be keeping a very watchful eye on us. So we thought we would just hang back here a little while and see if he comes out so we can follow him.
Right. So standing near you and talking to you now, they now know we're also on the other team.
You hear the sound of a glass smashing inside and a bit of a I presume it's the Japanese guy.
We could just be pretending to give you directions.
So now they know we're all together. And you got basically a death date tonight.
Death date, love it.
And possibly set some guy to follow within the next couple of minutes.
I almost can hear her voice.
Yeah.
It doesn't really leave you,
The latest avatar of Nyarlathotep, Francois.
Yes, if this guy comes out, we're gonna follow him for a bit and see where he goes.
Well, good luck with that. I think I'm going to retire to the hotel and wait for the fire.
Oh yeah, our hotel is supposed to catch fire here too, I suppose.
I'm heading off. I don't want to be seen with these two now.
Okay. Pranit,
That was
what do
probably
you
already
make of this? What do you make of this situation? Do you want to stay with the guys or be sensible?
I don't really want to stay directly with them, but since they told there was this Japanese fellow eavesdropping, etc., and trying to listen, I'd say I walk away in the opposite direction, but still keeping eye contact with the front door of the Stumbling Tiger.
Okay.
To see
I'll say
if
that.
this Japanese fellow comes out so that I can track him since he didn't see me.
Yeah, I was just thinking perhaps Pranit and I could track this guy and then Perry and Charles could vacate the area. That might actually work better.
Well, I did want to go behind the bar.
Send in the backup team, Team
Yeah,
B.
Look at the look at the area where the meeting's going to be tonight before tonight.
Yeah, so oh god, I can't remember the name of them, but Shanghai has these very, very tight snickets on almost every street. So there are plenty of places where you could sneak in and hide, brace yourself against the wall and things like that. As for round the back of the Stumbling Tiger Bar, it is basically just a slightly more open area where there are a few barrels. Occasionally you see sort of shit and piss and things get sort of just dumped in the street and things. The smell is horrible. But it's fairly secluded as long as you're not seen heading into that part.
Okay. Yeah,
As for the main street, given it's getting louder, there's potential there's more potential for possibly getting slipping away because there's more crowds and stuff that are forming. Not for any particular reason, but there's more people now outside enjoying themselves.
Well, we need to hang around and point this guy out to the other two, I suppose. Just
I was thinking, is this Japanese man really going to follow you?
Well, he already hasn't.
He's not following us. We're going to follow him.
Yeah, but he's going to come out and go where?
Well, that's it. He's going to report back to somebody.
Or following you to see where you are, where you hide.
He already hasn't followed them, though.
Yeah, he's not followed us out anyway. He probably wants to report back to his bosses. And if he does that, it would mean the Tiger Bar is not a cultist bar.
As
look,
you're
he hasn't
saying
had...
that,
Or it is a cultist bar and he's actually going to end up being an ally.
Or it is a cultist bar, but it's not a cultist yet.
as you're kind of talking about
sorry.
this. I'm sorry. No, I
No. That was stupid. Don't worry.
You actually see him stagger out of the bar with quite sort of heavy steps, and he's trying to grab onto a railing or something. He sees the four of you and just sort of waddles over a little bit, and he's squinting at you.
Hang on. We already said we separated.
Okay, well, anyone else who's
that was
kind of
quite
there?
important. Pranit and I separated because we're going to hide and then follow him. Perry and Charles, God knows what they're doing, but Pranit and I have gone elsewhere to not be seen.
That's fine. So I guess the two of you then are still kind of nearish in order to spot him.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of, I'd say 30, 40 meters away, given the street it's crowded, so we cannot
Okay.
be that far away.
Okay, yeah. In that case, okay, I'll say that he does it to like another couple of guys who are outside smoking. He goes up to them, Shaiwa Ari Masuka, and he's sort of doing this, and they realize that he wants a match to light up this cigarette, so he's just trying to do it, and he's not striking the match very well. He gets kind of angry and heads down the street a bit further in your general direction, Pranit and Annie, but obviously you've kind of dispersed a bit in the crowd, so you can't see him from where you are. Perry and Charles, if you're keeping a watch on him, or even trying to follow him, of course you can, make me a spot hidden roll, please.
Okay. That is a hard pass.
Ooh.
Fail.
Okay. Perry. Again, you're doing very well with rolls. You notice he's kind of keeping up the appearance. You think maybe he's staggering around a bit. At one point, he even knocks into, you think maybe a Chinese guy pretty hard, and he shouts at him, you think in Japanese. But you notice as he's doing this and kind of making a scene, you see him almost kind of just very surreptitiously pass something, maybe a note to this guy he's knocked into.
Okay. Charles, you're good at pickpocketing.
I'm good at forging, dear boy, not pickpocketing.
How'd you fancy a bit of mugging?
So you want to mug the Japanese gentleman. I suddenly find the need to go back to the hotel and leave you to it.
I want that bit of paper he passed. Well, unless you want to follow the Japanese guy, and I'll get the bit of paper.
Whilst you're thinking about it, the other two, I guess, are you kind of down one of the alleyways a bit further up, or are you kind of keeping in the crowds?
The plan was actually that Pranit and I would follow the guy that came out. All Perry and Charles needed to do was signal which person it was.
Okay. In that case, you see all this unfold from a nearby kind of hiding place.
Okay.
The Japanese guy, after the kind of the scuffle, he carries on further down the street.
I want to follow the Chinese guy.
The Chinese guy, not the Japanese one. Okay.
Yeah. After the handoff, I'll follow the Chinese guy.
Okay.
Do I still follow the Japanese to see who he is? Or I'm coming with you?
It's up to you, but the Chinese guy's going to get apprehended in a moment.
Yeah, you want to follow
if
the
I can't
Chinese
pickpocket,
guy.
I'm going to try and pickpocket the slip.
We will stick with the Japanese.
Yeah.
If you two want to take the Chinese.
All right. I'm following the Chinese as well with Becky. Annie.
Connection troubles.
I'm here.
Hello.
Yes.
We're all here.
Oh, I can see you, but nobody else.
You
Should we
who?
take a break then?
Yeah, since you were asking. Yeah, you were asking for it for about 10 minutes. All right.
There we go. You're all back.
See you. Hi, can we have a break, please?
Yes, we can have a break.
See you in 10.
Oh, it is hot tonight. Hot and muggy. Even it's the temperature. 17 degrees, really? It can't be. It's way hotter in here than 17 degrees. Blech. Hello, oh African globetrotter.
Hello. Yes, we are getting some miles under our belts on this one, aren't we?
Well, no, I just because you kept mentioning, oh yes, we went to Africa together, you know, and blah blah blah.
I thought it was a very subtle line of questioning.
I don't know. See, Annie just sees cultists under every bed and in every wardrobe.
Mm.
I haven't given you guys bonus dice for a while, have I? I should probably do it at the start of the session.
Bonus dice? No, we haven't had any for a while now, I don't think.
No.
I know at one point there for a while, Charles couldn't get rid of them. He was...
No, that was
That was Winston.
That was Winston.
Winston,
Oh,
I
of course
don't
it
need a
is.
bonus die green.
Yeah, when I did bloody use it, it was bloody useless to me.
Well, they don't always work. It just makes it more likely.
No, I've only had a couple of as Charles. I've only gotten, apart from you saying, "Oh, you can have a bonus die with a particular role." I've only actually gotten the bonus die for one moment, which was me doing that gag with my flask about talking to the spirits.
Go on, sod it. I'll give you a bonus die. I was just saying to the others, I should have really given you one at the start of this session, or the end of the other one, because you haven't had one for a while.
Sorry, I'm back.
Everybody get a bonus die.
Ooh.
Not going to complain.
I know I'm mid-scene, but I'll forget otherwise.
Does that mean that, say, things are going to get really difficult now?
Not necessarily.
That
You
means
haven't had one
yes.
for a while.
Yeah,
That means yes.
Thank you.
Anyway, so now Annie is following the Chinese guy who took whatever it was, right?
With me.
With you. Okay. He's heading basically back up the street in the direction of Charles and Perry.
Oh,
You don't know where exactly. He's kind of heading
As
up.
we're going past Charles and Perry, then I intend to pickpocket him, so he's surrounded by us at the time.
Oh. Are you planning to do it stealthily, or are you thinking more pin? Okay. Okay, so I guess it's going to be a sleight of hand roll to the actual pickpocketing.
Mm-hmm. I'll use that bonus die. First roll was a hard pass. And the bonus die failed me completely.
Okay. All right. It takes a little bit of coordination with everyone because whatever it was quite small. But basically you do the whole, bang it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Da, 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 and then you manage to get it off him.
Okay.
He protests in, you think, Shanghainese, just sort of shakes himself down and heads on off.
I'm so sorry, I say, as I'm secretly behind me, passing the note off to Pranit.
All right. I came back at the right time, I guess.
So it's a small note. It's in Chinese.
Yeah, of course, I'm not reading it now. I put it inside my jacket
Okay.
and head in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Is it worth running past our translator, or should we be trying to pick up some sort of small phrase book or something?
Well, at the moment, I think we should worry about seeing where this guy actually goes. So I'm going to continue to follow him, but from a distance.
Okay. Yeah. So he heads on down Lantern Street. He takes a right, sort of more into the district, and eventually he sees another bar. Heads in it for a few drinks.
What's the bar?
Oh God, no, you're telling me. It's a more, let's say it's a more high class bar than the Stumbling Tiger bar. It's nearest to your hotel, actually.
Wondering
More
if
Europeans.
you've seen me. Maybe he saw me. Hope not. I'm pretty good at stuff. Okay. Well, in that case, I'll carry on to the hotel and meet back up with the others.
Okay.
So I'll just walk past.
Yeah.
This is
You
the
don't
Chinese
think
guy
he's
now,
seen
is it?
you. You what? Sorry.
This is the Chinese guy.
It's the Chinese guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody, as far as I'm aware, was tailing the Japanese one.
Yeah,
Yeah, Charles and Perry were.
Charles and Perry were. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep swapping. I can't keep up with
No,
it. Okay.
not at all.
No, it's in direction. You're swapping direction. That's why I'm getting confused. Okay. Perry and Charles, yeah, you kind of have to make your way through the more voluminous crowd, I guess, because it's more and more people are coming out now. They're getting a bit merry, but you're easily, concealed within it. He heads into a gambling bar for a bit, plays a few rounds of cards, a bit of mahjong and so on, and you notice that now he's not being as drunk as he was, so your suspicions were confirmed. But apart from that, he doesn't really interact in the same way with anybody else. You think maybe he sees a couple of people that he knows and he has sort of friendly chit chat, but that's about it. And then he carries on to another place further down the street.
Are we going? What do you think? We can stop him and question him.
No, let's see where he finishes first.
He eventually heads into a brothel.
Perhaps we should have stopped and questioned him.
There's not a big sign outside saying brothel and books, is it?
Depends on which door he took. We might never see him again.
The only problem now is if he's in there to enjoy himself, the only answer we could possibly get to any question is yes.
Well, he's either in there to enjoy himself, or this is a cultist place.
I was suggesting, dear boy, that we enter this den of iniquity.
It could be a bit of a problem, though, couldn't it? If it is a cultist place and he does see us, then we are in trouble.
So you believe it's a trap?
It's a trap.
Let's walk into it.
Lee kind of looks a bit confused at what's happened and says, that place, I thought they only had maybe 2 girls remaining. It's not very popular at the moment.
Oh, you
Don't
know
know why
this
he'd
place?
go in there. I don't go in there myself, but I do
but
know of it.
You've heard of reputation.
Yeah, there's rumor actually. I hear that sunflower girls have been going missing lately.
From here?
More like on the way. to here. When they get sold, they never arrive.
Okay, so I think we found our cultist center then for Shanghai.
Okay, forget what I said about walking into the place. I don't think we should try that. Not yet.
I agree.
I'd like us to be in full, to have a bit more of the facts. To which point I whisper to Perry, translated, armed to the bloody teeth.
Okay, so we'll note the name of the place and
Yeah, get an idea of position as well. See if we can get a couple of street signs, so we can orientate ourselves, so we know where the hell it is.
Yeah.
Is this anywhere close to Ho Fang warehouse?
No, this is all on the same street, which is just north to south. It's a fairly easy street to find. It's one of the busiest on this side of the river.
Keep a note of it
Okay.
anyway. I would suggest that we head back to the hotel, dear boy.
Yes, I think we should see what was in it. Find out what's in that note.
Head back.
Okay. All right, so you all head back. You're back in the hotel. You've got the note, of course. Do you show it to Lee or one of the staff, perhaps, to get it translated? Or
What do you think is best, guys?
there was the phrase book idea as well.
You're muted, Becky.
You're muted, Becky.
I think I translate her.
I'm tempted to say him as well, if for no other reason than if he's going to be with us and trouble comes calling, he may as well have some idea of what he's about to walk himself into.
That's true.
Fine.
Okay. He takes it and goes. He sort of looks back at Perry and Charles as he reads it and says, "I think it talks about you. It just says, 2 white men, British and American, talk about Brady at Tumbling Tiger."
Right. Okay. So we know that we know the cultist has got the message because we've got it, and we know he understands English. So if we do find him and question him,
Well, they'll still know. It's not like this gentleman will be in isolation.
well, we know where he is. If he comes out, we could probably pick him up from there, actually, and
Well, let's go there.
give him a swimming lesson.
Well, let's go. Find whatever bar he's getting drunk in now and deal with him.
Brothel. He's in a brothel that has a certain reputation, so our friend says. Apparently girls go missing on the way there.
Well, why don't you 3 go and deal with him?
Fine with me.
Yeah, you're not selling it well, Perry.
So we're going to raid a brothel.
Is that the plan? Do we raid it? Do we just...
Here's the thing. If he clearly knows me and Perry. The moment we walk in there,
Well, there's the other
Things are
option.
up.
There's the Chinaman who's just around the corner. The Chinese man. He went into a fancy bar.
there's that.
So why don't we go and have a word with him?
Yeah, he doesn't know us. Plus, we have to get back for a meeting at 12 as well.
So let's head to the posh bar and see what's in there.
Okay.
Did you say it's quite hot weather in Shanghai at the moment?
It's humid, yeah, so it's hotter than it has been at this time of day.
Okay,
so you kind of open collar shirts and things.
At night, then, would it look unusual if we wore raincoats?
You might be giggled at a bit of like, oh, tourists with their coats on sort of thing.
Okay.
Okay. So you head into this nicer bar, and there's a lot more Europeans in this bar, given, again, how close it is to your hotel. You have a look around. There's a few different gambling tables, like there's sort of roulette, cards and things. But you are actually struggling to find him. You don't know if he's perhaps moved on.
I do believe he has.
Or he's out back. Because this is a cultist den.
He could have gone back maybe to look for the note if he tried to pass it on and he didn't have it.
He might indeed be looking for his contact. Still, we can be fairly sure that this is some kind of... No, we can't.
He could just be meeting someone here, couldn't he?
What are you thinking about, Annie?
I'm wondering if this place maybe has other cultists.
The problem remains. If we find ourselves frozen from doing any action on the basis that there might be cultists, we may actually give ourselves analysis paralysis and actually stop us from doing anything. We've got to make... We're going to end up having to just choose the path of least resistance, the one where we think there's less likely to be cultists.
I'm not scared of cultists. I'm just wondering how we confirm it.
Perry, seriously, your dice rolls. As you're kind of... well, you did roll as well. As you're talking, and occasionally, given you're quite a restless person, you don't like standing still for very long. You can't help but kind of keep looking around and things, and you think you just spot him just dip out of the front door.
Oh, I'm sure that was him.
Right, let's go.
Yep. I just want to say what you need to do after this session, Phil, is you need to get Jason to send you those 2 dice down to you, because clearly they're working.
They have the astral sign on.
So we want to get out and we'll check both directions.
I like that. They're quite nice.
Yeah, they're Kickstarter thing.
So when they turn up, Phil, you should do a picture of them as well. Just...
Okay, so kind of as you predicted, keeping a safe distance, he is starting to make his way back to Lantern Street, possibly to rendezvous with this other guy.
I believe we are following him at a safe distance.
Or do we want to stop him? Do we want to bundle him into an alley? And
What are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather see wherever he meets first.
Well, we know who he's going to meet. The kind of question now is, what are we actually going to do with these people? Because we want information, right? We want to know where the cult is. We want to know who the cult is. How do we get that from him?
Well,
bundle him in an alley and beat him up and get him to talk.
Yes.
It's the idea of using torture is abhorrent, but we may have to use some coercive techniques.
He'll just feign that he
Incentives.
can't speak English.
That's why we have a translator.
You're going to torture someone with a translator.
Yeah, I don't think
You
he's
want
gonna
me
do
to
that.
translate for him when you're hitting him?
No.
I disagree with this notion entirely. In fact, I really wish you hadn't said that in front of the translator even.
I'm sorry, I didn't know he was there, actually.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that is wise in any stretch of the imagination. But we do need to identify who the cult are. If we, there are a couple of ways we can do it. We can continue to follow, or we could be proactive. But I don't think torture is the right approach. I think you would need to get him somewhere safe and drunk.
Well, drunk we can do.
And talking as like a dancing on the tables kind of party.
If there's anything I know, it's how to get someone drunk enough to talk, but not drunk enough to pass out.
Excuse me.
Off you
your time
go.
to shine.
Does that
Stunned.
count as torture too?
I'm just stunned that the
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I just stunned the translator. He doesn't like torture, but he's okay with the cult and they'll keep talking.
He doesn't. Well, his English isn't perfect, so when you say cult, he doesn't quite get what you mean. You think maybe he thinks it's like an organization, possibly, but
Yes, that's correct.
To be honest, I'm almost tempted to see if we can follow a few more leads and get some more information before we approach any of them. But I don't know how many more leads we've got other than that warehouse.
Well, we've got the brothel now.
And yet, if we miss them now, we are not. I don't believe we are ever going to get a hold of them again, given how big Shanghai is.
yeah, I mean, you've got other leads, but you don't know where to find them or where to get them from.
Yeah, they're vague leads. They're somewhere here, but we don't know enough to pursue them yet. So this is it. We either follow this man or we engage with him.
I would suggest following at least. Where he goes might be a clue in itself.
Yeah.
Well, we know where he's going right now. He's going to meet up with the Japanese guy, but I suppose you're right. And actually, just waiting to see if he goes to that brothel is an insight, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then if he enters the tolerance house, we go in with him and try and eavesdrop on the conversation. Well, the translator rather than us, but still.
I will try my best.
Thank you very much. Charles will reward you handsomely.
Oh.
This will be the highest paid job you've had.
Oh. Many thank yous.
Possibly the last.
Do you actually say that?
No, but we're all
20,
thinking it.
40, 60. Okie dokie.
And when he got there, the cupboard was bare.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So, so you're keeping a safe distance. Given that you've bumped into him, Annie, and possibly has seen the rest of you, I'd like stealth rolls from you, please. Although you can get bonus dice, given the crowds.
All right. Let's see.
From all of us?
Yeah, all of you, please.
Pass.
I'm spend now. Oh, that's an extreme.
Okay.
No, not even close.
I'm shadows.
I've got a pass, but I had to use my bonus die to do it.
Okay. So Pranit very much keeps to the shadows. He kind of comes and goes out of the darkness and is barely seen at all. But you keep a safe distance, and he does indeed head back to the brothel, where this Japanese guy pretty promptly exits. He's fully clothed. In fact, you don't even think he's even taken them off at any point. Possibly he just kind of ducked in there to hide. But as they kind of meet up with each other, they recognize you, Annie, instantly, and see the others almost kind of knock into other people as they come out of various places, and they run.
I'm running after them.
Passed. It was Charles that failed.
I failed.
Yeah,
I
I know.
chase.
I know.
Yeah.
Annie
chase.
passed.
It is a chase. So let's roll for Constitution, please, and see first of all if you keep up with them.
Because I remember how the last chase ended in London.
Yeah, I remember too. Hard pass.
Fail.
Pass.
I think the word is he had much drink taken. I failed quite phenomenally. Not quite a critical failure, but I rolled 94.
Oh, come on, Charles. I'm stuck behind you.
I'm simply trying to move through all these people. There seems to be twice as many as there were a second ago. Just
Right, they're all cultists. Kill them all.
Oh, I can't do maths.
Did you bring that Maxim with you?
Okay, cool. Right, so basically, if you get an extreme, you get a +1 to your movement rating, which you can do in the little plus box next to your movement. On a regular success, you don't have any change. On a failure, it's -1.
On a hard pass?
No difference. It's still the same as the regular success.
Fuck. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm spending 7 points of luck and make it an extreme.
Okay, okie dokie. They also got an extreme.
Fuckers.
Is you in front of me?
All right, so now we compare speeds and actually see if you're going to catch them at all.
Phil, you need to get those dice. They're doing really well for everyone that he's rolling for. You need to take those dice from him.
For the moment. Okay, so. Okay, so given you've either plus or minus or say the same, Pranit, what is your move speed now?
8.
It's 8. Okay. And Annie?
So it was -1 if we failed, was it?
Yes, yeah.
7.
Okay.
7 for me as well.
Yeah,
I got
and
8.
Perry?
Eight's
You got
9.
8. 9.
Mine's 9.
All right then. Okay.
Very long legs.
Equal to or greater. Okay, so the Japanese guy is very quick. He darts away, and it's as if he knows these streets like the back of his hand, and he gets away way down the street before you're even remotely close to him. However, let's see. Perry and Pranit, you do manage to keep up with the Chinese man. He is not so quick. The other two, however, are kind of stumbling a bit in the crowds and are being left behind. But the two of you can certainly try and catch up to him. So let me just get my map up again.
It's not my fault. Somebody had to do the dramatic scene where you go through a load of empty carton boxes. Why is this not a chase scene? And unfortunately, this time it was me.
Indeed.
Well, last time was me, to be fair.
Okay.
I'm just grateful we lost the sugar
yeah.
glass trope.
a glass throat.
Yeah, it was the old films. There was, the two people crossing the road randomly carrying a pane of glass. Like, what was that
Yes.
even about? That only ever happened on film,
yeah,
but it happened on
Mhm.
so many.
Yes, that was very, very random.
What about the other trope? The empty cardboard boxes.
That's the one I started.
Yeah,
with.
you just
Yeah.
said that. Pranit and Perry, can you remind me of your Dex scores, please?
65.
70.
Okay. No, you were very close to each other. I couldn't remember who was closest to the top. Okay, and then was Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay.
Could have done with Jesus Christ at the moment.
Okay, so they are going to go before you, index order. Now, obviously, there's a chase. You can do things like shoot if you really want to, although there are lots of people, just to bear in mind. So,
Well, but according to Annie, they're all cultists, so that shouldn't be a problem.
okay. I'm not going to bother doing out the whole dots thing because it takes forever, and unless you've got GIMP, you can't really move people from one to the other. So what I'm going to say is that, yeah, the Japanese guy is really like right in front. He's managed to get a gap of not many people in front of him, so he can just quickly scale through. You can just about see he turns a corner at one point in the street. But like I said, the other guy, he's still acting before you, and he does move up a bit further, but you are within range. You're keeping up with him. Next up is Perry. There are lots of people still. They're kind of coming out. More people are a bit drunk by this point, and there are quite a lot of outside tables as well. There's people, carrying drinks and things that you have to kind of navigate around. So if you want to keep moving forward, you can at the speed you're going. But I'm going to need either a dex roll or a dodge roll, something like that, to keep up.
Okay, Dex, I suppose, to keep up. And that is a 12. So that is an extreme.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you definitely preempt people with trays of drinks and things, and you easily weave your way around them, and you keep up no problem.
We have
Pranit?
the pane of glass substitute. We have the tray of drinks.
Which is fairly realistic. Like I've seen small children run around me when I've got drinks in my hand. It's not great. Not that you're children, by the way. I'm just saying. Pranit. So yeah, you see Perry Leggett down the street, weaving in and out of these waiters and so on.
Yeah, I'm trying doing the same.
Okay.
But I'm rolling on dodge because that's higher than dex. If I may, of course.
Yes, of course you may.
That's a 49, which is a regular pass.
49. Okay. It takes you a little bit longer, but yeah, it's fine. You can still get around them. A couple of times you do a little bump and have to kind of gently move them out of the way and things. Okay, great. So as you carry on up, there gets to a point where you can't see the Japanese guy at all, and you think that the Chinese guy has split, possibly so they can both be lost in the street somewhere. At one point, you see the Chinese guy turn a corner, and a small river, well, not river, but like a small stream is approaching, and he seems to sprint towards it as if to jump in.
I'm going.
Keep going.
Okay. Right, no problem. So let me just make a roll for him. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. These dice, in general, these dice. Yeah, so he dives in really quite sort of gracefully into the water and starts trying to swim to the other side. He is still in front of you, but you're fairly close to him. Not so close that you could tackle him beforehand. But yeah, you're not far behind. So, Perry, what do you plan to do?
I'm gonna run and dive in just as he did.
Okay. Can you give me a swim roll, please?
Swim roll. 13, which is where's swim to? That is a hard pass. 15 for extreme for hard.
Nice. Okay, yep. So you dive in, maybe not as gracefully, but yeah, you can see a point where you can get in nicely and avoid sort of a few things around you. So yeah, you dive in. It's very kind of thick, full of dirt and things, and you have to surface quite quickly. But yeah, you start swimming across either front crawl, breaststroke, whatever, and yeah, you keep up with him. In fact, you think you can just about see on the other side. It's going to be quite difficult for him to hoist himself up, given how close you are to him. So maybe once you reach the other side, that'll be a good place to potentially grab him. Pranit, are you following suit?
Yes, but I think I'm about to kill myself.
Are you allergic to water?
No, I don't have any points in swim.
I think it's
You
base
have
20, isn't
surely.
it?
20.
Yeah, still I'm about to crack my head open over some sort of rock.
Got a bonus
Ooh.
die.
But yes,
You
I'm
do,
following.
yes,
I'm following suit.
you do have the bonus die. That's a good point.
Uh,
It's kind
yeah,
of worth up a 20 roll.
I'm using it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
No, it's a fail either way.
Okay. You don't hit your head. It's not like the end of that Ants movie where he falls and one of them goes nice into the water and the other one smashes on a rock or something. But you basically belly flop. And it knocks the wind out. You suddenly realize that your turban is wet as well, so you're trying to keep that out of the water, and you're just floundering a bit. So you can kind of make your way up to where Perry is, but you're going to start lagging behind a little bit. The Chinese guy has reached the other side. He's realized that he can't really get up that quickly, so he's going to maybe try and move along to try and find either a ladder or a rope or something. So he's doing that, and I'm going to see if he manages to spot something. What's his spot hidden? That's quite good. Huh. Okay, he does. However, it is a bit further out of reach, so he's kind of having to move to the side now. So you could easily just switch direction, Perry, and head over towards him. Since you kind of have to speed up a little bit, though, so can you give me a con roll? And if you succeed, then you basically catch right up to him.
70.
Should be fine.
Oh, that's a 9. 009.
Nice. Okay. You easily, it's almost like you completely predict where he's going to go. So you easily change direction and just speed through the water. Kind of like Johnny Weissmuller this. And yeah, you easily get on top of him. So what do you plan to do?
If he's still in the water, I just want to grab him and maybe just duck him a little bit and then throw him against the side.
Oh,
just
okay. Yeah. If anything, he may have had like one hand on a rope by the time you reach him, so you easily pull him off. And yeah, you can kind of duck him under a bit, but he is going to try and fight back.
Okay.
So can you give me a brawl roll just to see if you keep hold of him?
Fighting brawl 56. Oh, 77. Fail.
Yeah. So he actually he gets ducked under the water for a little bit, but then he manages to almost kind of move out of the way of your hand, and you see this fist fly towards you and actually hit you. Has he got a damage bonus? Ooh, yes, he does.
+1.
Huh?
I was at 1d4, isn't it? Yes, 1d4.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the stats right here. I know what he's got. Oh, okay. So actually not that much. So that is 4 damage.
Ooh.
You feel like it's going to bruise you next morning in your jaw.
Okay.
And he starts trying to swim away again.
That's a punch.
Okay, coolio. We'll deal with that in a second. Pranit, you've basically caught up, or you're within range by this point. You've seen him basically sock it in Perry's face and try and move towards this rope you can see hanging over the side of the key.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's not. I'm taking out my knife.
Uh-huh.
As I get closer, and just threaten him with it. Sorry.
Okay.
And gently ask him to stop bitching about. And stop hurting my friend.
Okay. That's going to be an intimidate roll.
I do have something in intimidate. Ooh, I have a lot in intimidate. Oh yeah, that's an extreme. It basically shits his pants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's obviously heard people threaten him before, given how he reacts, but it's the way you phrase it, the deepness of your voice, something about him. Maybe he's not used to an Indian man threatening him, you don't know, but whatever it is, he suddenly kind of stops and just takes stock of the fact, okay, now there's two. There were four, maybe are they coming, things like that. So he does stop and kind of lower himself off the rope. He'd sort of hoisted it up a little bit, and now he's back down with both hands on the rope. Well, you swam in the river to get to me. What do you want?
Well, to be fair, we could ask you the same question. Isn't that right? We could start off simple. What's your name?
My name's Herman.
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 Does that sound like a Chinese name to you, Perry?
Doesn't sound Chinese to me at all. No.
This is my name. My parents gave me a British name. It's quite common now in Shanghai.
Well, Herman, what's your interest in us?
You know, we're the Paris of the East. My friend and I heard you talking about Brady.
We know. Why do you care?
He's kind of looking as if he's kind of very wet, and it's a bit weird having this conversation, just sort of treading water in this river. But he says, we are interested in knowing what he is doing.
Why? What's your interest in Brady?
No, not as an enemy specifically, but there are lots of moving parts in Shanghai, and lots of people who have a lot of influence here, and we've heard rumors about him working with certain factions. Something big might be happening, and he is using them as leverage.
And who are you working with?
I think you might have seen him.
Well, the Japanese guy. We saw him, but
Yeah,
who are you working with?
I work for him. He
Who does
works
he
for
work?
he works for the Japanese Navy.
How's the Japanese concerned in all this?
Well, when there are rumors of a large machine, or maybe even a large weapon being built in secret, of course it is going to perk our interest.
Interest your neighbors, yes.
This has been built in Shanghai.
We don't know where exactly, but yes, we think, whether for bad or for good, we think that Brady is working with some secret organization, either on this weapon or possibly to find out more about it, and we want to know as well. But we do not really know where he is.
So you were never able to locate him?
No, we only know of a possible connection to this organization, We think it might be a militia, fanatic militia. There is a warehouse on Chengshang Road.
Oh, Fang.
He looks a bit confused. I don't know if Ho Fang is involved.
And the brothel this Japanese guy went to, is that his base? Where he
No,
works from?
no, he was trying to get away from you. We are normally quite good at slipping away, but you have fast legs and maybe webbed feet too, given how you swim.
Yes, we don't punch too badly yourself.
No, we are well trained.
How many factions are at work now that you know of, besides the Japanese and this fanatic militia?
There are many groups, factions in Shanghai at the moment. This group that Brady is working with, they're not big, but they are very fanatical. They have connections, possibly, but we are trying to find out what exactly. Somehow they are doing this under the Green Gang's nose as well. The Green Gang normally know everything about every group in China. Or
But
certainly
this
on the
one.
east side. No, they are very careful.
Do you know anything about someone that goes by the name of Pale Viper?
No. No, I do not. At which point you see the Japanese guy emerge, and he's seen that you've got his associate cornered. He kind of approaches you, gesturing for peace. Maybe we could go somewhere more comfortable.
Yeah, we'll get into this river.
Maybe drier. That would suffice.
Yes.
Is it all the 6 of us?
Yeah, you see the other two appear across the river.
Yeah, I'd
What?
recommend finding a bridge.
I sort of look
actually,
I look
there
at the
are some
stream.
bridges. Yeah.
Yeah, I look at the stream and immediately I'm not crossing that. Where's the bridge?
You kind of have to go round a bit and then come back in. But yeah, there's a bridge.
That's
nearby.
fine. After the running, we've done a little, a small heart attack on the way over the bridge. Isn't going to affect anything.
How'd they get all the way over there already?
Yeah, we won't climb out, but keep an eye on both of these two all the time.
Yeah, I mean, they're not stupid. They're obviously used to this sort of thing. So the Japanese guy in particular, he also keeps an eye on you. But he can see that his associate has spilt at least some things. So he's not going to try and run again. He knows that you know about him. Perhaps we can come to some sort of arrangement.
As in, we help
He
you
knocks
with
that
all the
over.
information.
That doesn't require breaking of wholesale items.
No. Not at all.
Agreement as we do the dirty work and you get all the information and credit.
You go to somewhere a bit more secluded, and he keeps pleasant, with you at least.
Charles and I arrived then, if they're going.
Yes, yeah. You've definitely caught.
I sort of tap Perry on the shoulder.
Hello, nice to meet you.
I tap Perry on the shoulder and I say, don't worry, dear
Konnichiwa.
boy. Miss Jones and I were simply hanging back in case they double back.
Yes, of
Very
course.
sound plan.
Where is he gone?
We could have kept up.
But we really didn't want to. We didn't feel like it.
We were
Oh,
just making sure the little sneaky, nice gentleman didn't.
Speak for yourself. I would have kept up, but you're in my way.
Subtle.
So, the Japanese man introduced himself as Isoge Taro. Captain Isoge Taro. Who indeed works basically as a spy for the Japanese Navy. I assume that my friend has told you why we were pursuing you.
Yes, and I must say it was a rather sensible decision on his part.
Well, he gestures to Pranit. Your friend is a big man with a big knife.
Thank you.
We were not born yesterday.
Perhaps we should explain who we are then.
That would be most useful.
We have been tracking and fighting and defeating an extremist cult all over the world.
For sport.
I do believe that what we call cult, you call fanatic militia.
And
But I do believe we're all on the same page.
we're in Shanghai because of clues we found in England.
They're not a cult. I suppose in one way they could be a cult, but they do not. They're not religious fanatics. No.
Not in any traditional sense of religion, no.
Yeah, they are definitely a cult.
Well,
Unless we're not talking about the same people. That's a possibility.
if you are talking about the New China group, this small militia, they are fueled politically. They believe there is a lot of corruption in China at the moment, which they want to eradicate. Get rid of the old traditions.
Well, they're right, aren't they?
They may be tangentially involved with us, but no, the blighters that we're after have a slightly more global view of their idea. They basically want to just. Is it destroy or enslave us all? I haven't quite kept up on that bit.
You're not talking about the communists, are you?
No. These they're very religious in nature. These people, they worship strange creatures as gods and perform all kinds of terrible rituals.
A sadistic cult who, for want of a better word, I suppose the most easy way to explain it would be like they do lots of sacrifices, but they do it on a large scale. Because that's who we're fighting, and Brady is involved with them. So if you're saying Brady's involved with this New China army, was it? New China something?
They might call themselves an army, but I doubt they are actually an army. They are not big enough.
Right. Well, then it's likely either that is either it's a multi-tiered organization, or Brady is just using them for some purpose of his own.
Yes.
But
we do not know. Yes, we do not know. We know it is something shady. There are whispers of a possible weapon that is being built.
A machine, yes.
Maybe machine, weapon. Weapon was the word that piqued our interest.
you're a military man. You probably
Yes.
think in terms of weapons. To be honest, we've come across some parts for this machine and we dispatched them all over the place. What you need to do is you need to get your navy hunting down a ship called the Ivory Wind. That's the boat that's bringing all the parts in. Now, we sent some of those parts to, where was it?
Port Said. No, it was from Port Said.
You sent some off to Aden.
Aden.
And so on. Also, you stole a couple yourself, although you never really mentioned them after Egypt, so I assume that you just left them there. You wouldn't want to take them with you or anything. Would that be correct?
Yeah,
Just
we're not
the-
carrying
Yeah.
crates of them
Yeah.
around.
Yeah,
but
small
probably
boxes.
so
Plus-
we'd have buried them in the desert.
Yeah. Plus,
yeah.
plus it
Yeah, I do believe we were planning on seeding them into the ocean.
yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
I was
it's
99% sure you didn't want to take them with you.
it's
It made no
the
sense.
last crusade thing. You know, what's the point in trying to stop them if we stop them getting all these parts if we take a couple of the parts all the way
Yeah.
bloody to them?
Indeed.
Besides, our inventory was full. We ran out of slots.
Exactly.
So, yes, we managed to waylay some, and the Ivory Wind is on its way now to fetch some from Aden and the stored ports. If your navy can do anything about that, then that will probably help.
But if you only saw a few of these machine parts, how do you know that it is corresponding with whatever this
We,
is? Have you seen any
Well,
plans?
You're saying
Blueprints?
Braid is involved?
And we've tracked these parts from
These
the
parts were for
manufacturer.
Brady.
We've tracked these parts from manufacturer in England.
In England? They've come all the way from England.
Yes.
Made by the coal.
Then we can certainly try and track the Ivory Wind. If the Ivory Wind is heading back to England, are you sure?
I suspect possibly either to Aden to collect the parts that we misdirected, or if they haven't figured that out, they might be making more in England.
Yes.
Either way, they will be heading west. In which case, yes, we can try and track them.
The only thing you can do is go to Australia.
Why would they go to Australia?
I'm curious to know myself.
Yeah, Shanghai was their last stop.
Yeah.
Well, this is quite an important distinction. Are they going
Yes.
back to England or are they going to Australia?
I believe, given everything that's been said, that there's a very good chance that either that they will have realised the little prank that's been played on them, and they'll be heading back to Aden. Did you say Aden?
Aden.
To pick up the parts and bring them back. The upshot is, whether they're going to Aden to get them or all the way back to England to get them, they need the parts.
Didn't we send some to Singapore as well?
You
They
may
still
well
I
have
think
done.
we did. Yes.
They
You
still
may
won't
well
have
have done.
all of them either.
Yeah, we sent them all over the place.
Yeah, we did a lot of mislabeling.
And they're not going to get them all because we took some.
So yeah, that's as much as we know about the Ivory Wind. But yes, if Brady is involved, then those were probably the parts they were waiting for whatever it is they're building. But
So
no,
you've
we've
not
seen no
seen-
blueprint.
No.
They're not
It would
okay.
be far more beneficial for us and for Japan if we knew what this thing was.
I'm sure, but we don't know.
Well, they won't
Or
be-
if you had any parts we could examine or inspect.
Sorry.
Give you a rough longitude and latitude. I'm good at your divers.
They're not going to get any new parts from England either because they dismantled the factory, didn't they?
Well, yes, but they can recommission it.
That's going to
Yeah.
be months, though, isn't it? It's going to be months before they do that.
It would be a big delay. That was why we did what we
Yeah,
did.
that's what we were hoping for. But
There is a another man we're interested in. We're not sure how he's connected yet, but we think he's involved. I don't suppose this name means anything to you. And Alfred Penhurst. He owns a boat called the was it the Dark Mistress?
Yes.
Yeah.
One moment. Okay. I have I think possibly I've seen a boat of that name once or twice, but I do not know this Alfred Penhurst or why he is here.
A former associate of ours who sadly died before he could explain the connection had a photograph of the boat, and so we think it may be connected. And we found who the owner is, but we don't yet know what the connection is.
So, even though there is this cult you are looking for, Brady's motives obviously interest you. Well, I can certainly send people back towards England to check these ports and track down this boat, this Ivory Wind. You might be able to help us here, too. I may have a name for you. There is a man who we think is part of this militia group. His name is Chu Min. We have spotted him every day, we think. Every time, same day, he visits a tea house called the Autumn Morning Tea House.
Oh, another tea house.
It's China. Of course it's a bloody tea house.
We were told tea houses before.
What do you want us to do?
I thought after Dashwoods I'd never worry about tea again, but it's just...
If you can obtain information on this man, how he is a part of the militia, what he does, anything about this weapon.
And what's in it for us?
Well, you can, if it is money you want, that can be arranged, but I think it is more than money that you want.
No, we're well funded. It's more
Informations, but...
Well, you want this boat, don't you? This Ivory Wind.
well, anything you can do to delay that will help us both. That's why I told you about it.
Yes, that's what I thought.
All right, so you want just general information about how maybe join the militia, what does it do for them, what it does for them.
Do you know of something called the Order of the Bloated Woman?
I have heard of this order, but I do not know much about it. I honestly think the only thing about this weapon and this order, and maybe they are linked. The only deduction we have is possibly this weapon could be used against the Chinese government, and maybe there are some communists in this order who are part of it.
Yeah.
But I do not know about this order very much. They are quite secretive.
Yeah, go figure.
I think it might relate to this religion of theirs about this woman with the fan, the black fan.
No, it's not a bloody tongue.
I'm afraid I do not know that reference. I have not seen it anywhere.
No, I think it's something to do with their religion, like that's this god they worship, but I can't say I know their religious texts either.
Well, I must apologize for the nature in which we met, but I am hoping that this can be fruitful for the both of us.
Perhaps. How would we contact you if we needed to?
If you speak to McChum at the Stumbling Tiger Bar,
For us, you can contact Li Wencheng.
who's kind of
I think that's it. That's kind of everywhere we're on. Other than, so you don't think Hu Feng? You mentioned another warehouse though, right on the river, and one that wasn't Ho Feng.
he looks at his associate and realizes he's spilt some more. Yes. So we think that Brady may have a connection with a warehouse, possibly where they train on Chongshan Road. It is the south side of the river. Chongshan Road. I'm still not quite used to the Wayward, Way Giles. Is it Way Giles or Way for Giles? The Giles way of talking.
Right. We're fairly close to Ho Feng's, but not the same warehouse. So the reason the Ho Feng warehouse is interested to, or has come up on our radar, so as we understand each other, is the Ivory Wind docked there for some time. We believe that's where it was intending to unload the parts.
The Dark Mistress harbored there.
It
Not the
also
Ivory Wind.
harbored there, yes.
Do you know where this Dock Mistress boat is now?
It was last seen in the harbour a few weeks ago.
There could have easily been an exchange of these parts.
Yes, well, some were probably still on board the Ivory Wind, but some will have gone all over the place. So that's why I think the Ivory Wind has headed off. Try and recover those that it can, and then they'll have to get a few remade because we sunk them.
Obviously, we are speculating at this point. We haven't been able to see any manifests, so we don't know what was taken off the ship, if they'd even log it.
Well, in fairness, we sort of do because, well, you guys did actually get on board the boat and see.
We didn't open every crate, but we opened a few. We just swapped labels after that.
You opened a few, went a little mad, swapped some labels around.
Actually,
Tripped over some boxes.
Went a little mad. No, I would call that really creative craziness with the labels.
No, I didn't mean that. I mean, like, seeing the horrible figures and stuff in the human feet skin and stuff.
The very definition of inspired lunacy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for the fresh lead, and I hope we've been of help to you too.
How do we get in touch with you?
We speak to the bar guy.
Speak to McChum.
Okay,
Yes, you have been most helpful. We may keep an eye on this warehouse as well, but first the Ivory Wind. We must track it down. Arigato. He gives you
Alligator.
Arigatone.
Okay, and he takes his leave with his friend, of course.
Well, that was unexpected.
It was.
I mean, talk about experience we could add to our resume.
There was me thinking you saw Cthulhu when you was on the boat. It was actually Godzilla.
All right, so we have some spying to do.
Yeah, I'm interested to check out these warehouses first, though.
Yeah, we've got to be careful as well. We don't be tied into spying for the Japanese Navy, do we? If we get
At
caught
this
now-
point, we've got so many people chasing us. A whole bunch of new people chasing us for being spies is really just going to be a case of join the fucking queue.
When did they invade Manchuria?
well, in the 30s.
1904?
So is that ongoing now?
I don't think so, no.
It didn't last that
invasion
much.
Manchuria. Oh no, it's 1931 to 32.
It was 30s, yeah.
Oh, I'm getting mixed up with the Russo-Japanese War.
Yeah, so we'd have to wait a couple of years before we try and escape up there.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think we should gather some more intel before going and analyzing the warehouses. To
Do you
be
think we should
totally
speak to
fair.
Chu Min?
I do believe we do. I do believe it. Yes.
Like we have 4 leads at the moment. One is find the Dark Mistress, although I'm not quite sure how other than sitting in the harbour. One is Chu Min, and the other is these 2 warehouses. So, you know, Ho Fong's warehouse, so we can investigate Ho Fong a bit.
Yeah.
Find out what we can about him or her.
Do you still want to speak to McChum?
About
Well,
Oh,
he was
at
possibly going to
midnight.
divulge some more information at midnight, yes.
Yeah, I think we should now.
okay. Is there some vantage point over that alley that Pranit and I could take up?
I'll say yes, although given it's quite an open area, if you're peeking out, it's going to be fairly easy to spot if you linger too much.
Well, I was just thinking that if Pranit and I could, like, I don't know, get on a roof somewhere or you know, find a dumpster to hide behind.
Yeah, I mean, a roof, yes, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. In which case, yeah, we'll do that last scene then before we finish. So he does meet you outside. He finishes up, not really cleaning because it's not a clean place, but he does wipe his hands. There's a bit of sweeping outside. Everyone's gone by this point, and you head round the back and meet him.
I've got my hand on my gun in the pocket just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And he doesn't really say anything. He just kind of does a nod. Okay, yes, you are here. You sobered up a little?
Yeah, we're fine.
How do you think so after that then?
He's still taking a look around. You have a deep pocket for bribes, but it works a little.
So what information do you have for us?
You want to find Brady, yeah?
Yeah.
So, Brady, he has been here a few times, yes. Hold on, I've lost where it is.
Drinking alone, was he?
Yeah, drinking alone. I think he isn't here anymore, though.
So he's left China.
He lowers very quietly to the point where the other two can't actually hear anymore at this point. He mentioned something about Rangoon, going to Rangoon. Some sort of deal there with a man named Charlie Gray.
What the fuck is Rangoon?
Rangoon is
Birmania.
Burma.
Burma. Yes. Trying to think of the name it is now.
Oh, yeah, of course I read that in Italian, of course.
But yeah, he visited here a few times.
How long ago do you think he went to Rangoon?
A few months ago, maybe 2-3 months.
How is he still paying for his friend from all the way back there?
He could have left money with a lawyer or something to get
Yeah.
payment, or the cult could be paying it if he's in the cult again. Maybe even a bank would do it for him if he's got enough money with him.
Did he say when he would be returning from Rangoon?
If ever.
He has not been here for a while. I've not heard from him, although he was not much of a talker.
Do you know if he left on any particular ship?
He wouldn't say.
Starting to think I overpaid.
He's still flitting his eyes every so often, just keeping watch.
What are you seem quite nervous. What are you worried about?
Well, you're not the first person to ask about Brady. He seems quite popular.
Who else?
I'm just saying, his name pops up.
From whom?
I don't know who they are exactly, but they might be some of Ho Fong's people, maybe Green Gang. But people are, well, have been trying to look for him.
When was the last time, apart from ourselves, that someone asked after Mr. Brady?
Things have gone quiet recently.
When was the last time?
Well, that Japanese guy, I could see him perk up when you mentioned Brady. He is obviously interested.
Yes, I'm sure he is. But when was the last time someone specifically asked you about Mr. Brady prior to ourselves?
A bit after he left. A few weeks after.
Did you ever see Brady with anyone in the bar, or was he always by himself?
No, always alone.
By that for a second. Yeah. You have anything else, Carrier boy?
I don't think so.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chum. I'm sure we'll speak to each other again.
Who is he really to you? He's not your friend from Africa, really, is he?
Yes, he is actually. Yeah, he's a friend from Africa. He was on a safari as we usually see in the picture. We've just come from Africa ourselves.
That is true.
He was quiet, but he never mentioned you two.
It was a big group.
Well, as I say, I didn't personally know him. I'm just tagging along with my friend here.
Well, do you have what you need?
Oh, no.
And he looks around again.
How's the guy dressed? Has he got any? I know we've seen some cultist stuff. Has he got any sort of necklaces or?
No, he's got like a basic chain, and he's wearing like a loose shirt, trousers and things, but no sort of cultist jewelry, tattoos, anything like that on him that you can see.
Okay. Well, thank you for your help.
Now, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind getting sleep. It's been a long day.
Yeah, of course.
Sweet dreams.
And he heads off quite briskly. You don't know if he's seen the other two, but you couldn't quite tell. But in any case, he slips away. It's starting to get quieter now in the streets, as people are turning in, or the bars are shutting and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll have to report back. It seems to be pointless looking for Brady. He's not even in the country.
Okay. So you head back to the hotel.
Which is on fire.
Get some shut-eye yourself, I guess, unless there's anything else that you want to do before turning in.
I think we've had a busy enough night.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, in which case, yeah, you head on back. But yeah, kind of like Charles was saying earlier, you start to, you can't help but get slightly paranoid. There seem to be lots of different people or groups of people, some of which are obviously looking out for you. But also, as you're walking home and the crowds are getting either thinner, or whatever on the ground, you still can't help but, you turn around every so often, you think that you're being watched, possibly by some other people. But every time you look behind, they just disappear.
What
But
a
let's
very
end it
cool
there.
situation to be in.
Let's end it there tonight.
Food for thought, guys. Food for
Yes.
thought.
That's a lot to think about.
Cool.
Thank you for having us as always, mate.
That's
Yes.
okay.
Good.
Thank you
Great
very-
session.
Enjoyed that
Okay,
session very
right.
much.
Oh, we just had a comment.
Ooh, did we
Kit
now?
Patient. Hello, Kit.
Hello,
Hello.
Kit.
Hello.
Hello, Kate.
Great game as always. Oh, a frequent watcher. Ooh. Very nice. Well, we've just finished, but you can always watch the beginning, of course. But yeah, we will end the broadcast.
40 sessions. Be caught up by next week.
Yeah, exactly. We'll end the broadcast there. Thank you to those of you watching, and of course to my lovely players. And we'll see what happens next time, and if they are tailed by anybody else, perhaps we shall see as they start snooping around Shanghai. So bye bye, everybody. See you next week.
See ya.